I'm at the Albany station, the Albany train station, and today I'm waiting for a bus at the train station. Not going to take a long trip today, but I am going to take a trip. And look at that sky. Look how gray it is. Quite a contrast from last week. And more about that later. My bus will be here in any minute. I'm at the Woodburn Transit Center, or one of them, and it's raining out. Oh, my lens is already ruined. 1 second. Normally maybe the rain would bother me, but after weeks of forest fires and smoke and hot, weird days, I'm just happy, even though I'll be walking around getting wet. Also, ironically, I am in Woodburn on the day that the wood smoke is gone. And over there, just past the Denny's, is Interstate 5, and we can also see the on-ramp for it here. Interesting fact, when Woodburn was built, or when the freeway was built, Woodburn specifically wanted it built outside of city limits. But what happened is that the city came to embrace the freeway, and we get into this kind of gas station and hotel district right at the interchange of the freeway. So we'll be walking away from the freeway and into the rest of town. And over there, if we could see things, there are the outlet stores, which are another tourist draw for Woodburn. But in this case, we're walking this way. And normally I would think all this, I can't zoom out past the water drops. It would be a bad form to have all these water drops, but I'm just so happy. It has been very hard for us all. So I'm happy to see some rain, and I hope you're happy to see some rain too. And I don't know if it will continue to rain quite this hard. We'll see. So I'll be walking eastward into the center of town along this big old 6-lane road for I think a mile or two. I know the streets thirst water like Moses. So like in a lot of cities that have a freeway part and an old town part, we kind of have this transitional zone. This is a busy road, but notice there's not a whole lot along this road compared to the area right next to the freeway, and less than when what we will see when we reach the center of town. So this is kind of like a transitional zone. Is this a street or is this a road? The classic question. Here's a sign for Boone's Ferry Road, which was the road leading to Boone's Ferry, which was the ferry over the Willamette River connecting the Willamette Valley with the Portland area in Wilsonville. Run by a grandson of Daniel Boone, thus the name. By the way, this road is loud, so I know I'm shouting. Anyway, like I said, near Corvallis, where you can always see the Marys River everywhere, Boone's Ferry, this road up here, goes everywhere. Starts in southwest Portland and it just like goes out into the Willamette Valley. I don't know where it starts or where it ends. It's just kind of there. We have a Grange Hall. I've talked about Grange Halls before, and it kind of brings up an interesting issue, or interesting to me at least. Right now, are we in an exurb, a part of the Portland area, or are we in a small town? Agriculture is very important in Woodburn, but also this town is about 15 miles from Salem and about 20 miles from the south side of Portland. So this is a town where people are still, a lot of the people here probably are commuting into Salem and Portland, but also it is kind of a small town with its own agricultural base, and it's a small town with big intersections. Well, this might answer my question, because it says Boone's Ferry Road this way, Settlemyre Avenue this way, so this intersection might be where Boone's Ferry ends and that it's no longer called Boone's Ferry, and it turns into a different road, and I don't know how far that road goes. I'll have to look that up on a map. Okay, well, I'm still not in the center of town, still have to go a ways for that. So like a lot of small-sized cities or towns, we have an office park. You know, so this town is large enough that it has professional services. Not just a farming town and not just a suburb, it's a town in its own right. So this is an example about what I said earlier. An example of what I said earlier about the town being divided is that we're still in the middle of town, just a few blocks from where we were last. But looking at this, you can imagine, you know, this is like a country intersection. But there are buildings, and we will get back to the town just after we cross under this bridge, I believe. Look at how high that water is already, and it's only been raining for an hour or two. Quite a contrast because it's been bone dry for a long time. And it looks like that's getting high enough where it's going to be out in the road pretty soon. Then things will get real messy. But irregardless, I am continuing on my way. Okay, I'm going to fix this. That'll do for now. This is the junction with Oregon 99 East, Highway Oregon 99 East. And, you know, so the freeway is one part of town and there's business along the freeway. And then obviously you have businesses along the highway for people driving through town, but from, you know, slightly smaller distances. Also, the reason I walked here to this specific point is, as I talked in the Jefferson video and then later the Albany video, I've walked everywhere now from Battleground Lake to Monroe, but sometimes I'm a little bit unclear on the details. So I know I've walked to Woodburn and I know I've walked from Woodburn, but at what point I actually walked through Woodburn, I don't know. I think I have, but I don't remember. So anyway, that last section of road was kind of for me to complete that, just to make sure, not that anybody's keeping track. And this is also kind of the northern edge of town. As you can see, the businesses are thinning out here. And this road will continue through Aurora and through Canby and then into Portland and Oregon City too along the way. And someday we might visit all of those places, but now I need to go to the Dollar Tree. I need some caffeine, dude. So this is a first for me because I love the Dollar Tree, but there was too long of a line there. There's like one clerk and 12 people in line, so I had to leave without purchasing anything because I'm a little short on time. I'm taking a bus back to Salem, and I have to kind of skedaddle to get there. Things took a little bit longer. This is kind of hectic. I hope that's not too bad. Okay, well, I'm skedaddling. I'm returning back to, well, I hope it's not ruining the surprise, the other transit center in Woodburn. And, okay, to be honest, this is not my most well-planned, well-thought-out, and restful trip, but it's all as good to see something new. So now I'm at some sort of park, and to be honest, the main reason I'm here is I'm looking for a restroom. Been walking around in the rain for a while. And this park looks like it's undergoing construction. That might be something I'm looking for over there. This is probably a nice park if I had a more leisurely time. But for now, I'm just passing through as quickly as I can. Got to get to where I'm going. Also, nice trees. Nice trees there. That was indeed a restroom, and I feel a lot more relaxed now. This looks like this would be a very nice park. The reason I commented on the trees is that historically the native people kept the Willamette Valley burnt and kept it as an oak orchard. And those look more like tall pine trees, so I don't know if this particular area had more of like a coniferous forest like it would be in the hills. Interesting question, or those could have been planted, I don't know. I hope this road leads somewhere because I have a bus to catch in about 40 minutes. This looks like this could actually be a connecting trail system. There we have like a little wetland down there. And on a different time, I would like to explore this and find out more about what's going on here. But I don't want to be stuck in Woodburn overnight. So let's go through this gate and hope this cul-de-sac does not lead me into a warren of like little curvy suburban streets, that it leads me back to downtown. We will find out. So these are the railroad tracks. Like a lot of cities in Oregon and across the country, Woodburn started with the railroad tracks. Might be the origin of the name. And it's interesting, we have like kind of a tale of three different transportation routes. We have the railroad tracks, which date back to the 19th century. Then we have Highway 99, dating back to the 1930s, I believe. And then the freeway development is really 70s and 80s. And so we kind of have three separate towns, you know, all in one city based around those. And so, yeah, like a lot of towns, it has an old industrial base, has a newer tourism or just transit base, has a suburban base. So we saw all sides of it, but not much because, like I said, I was in a hurry. And if we follow the tracks this way, I think that is downtown. So let's go there. So along here, and along the railroad tracks, we have like the old downtown, the 19th century downtown, old brick buildings. And one reason this place is still very active is Woodburn has a lot of Latino immigrants. And, you know, the downtown, a lot of these are, or almost all of these are Latino businesses, so they've really revitalized downtown with these small businesses. So there's a train going by. So this is the downtown transit center, which is basically a shelter. So there's two transit centers. One is the kind of intermediate long distance transit center along I-5, where, you know, the Amtrak Cascades buses go. And this is the bus that goes between here and Salem. And there's quite a difference. The Amtrak Cascades bus takes 20 minutes, just goes up and down the freeway. This one actually takes an hour to get back to Salem, which I would mind less if my socks weren't so wet. And it doesn't actually have a schedule. I thought I knew the schedule, but I don't. I hope I didn't miss it. I always get a little worried on trips like this, even when I'm pretty sure. So I'm waiting here at the Woodburn Downtown Transit Center. Now the bus is passing through the small town of Gervais. I don't know how to pronounce that. About, I think, 4 or 5 miles south of Woodburn. And the windows and my lens are both foggy. I'm at the Salem Transit Center. I've been here before. This is the first time I've been in Salem in the rain, in the cold for a while. And it kind of reminds me of being here back in the 20th century. You know, when I went to community college. I went by Chemeketa Community College. So not going to spend too much time in Salem, but this is the transit center. And I'm going to the train station, which, as I mentioned before, are in different places. and I have some caffeine and Doritos, and can't think of anything else to say. Nice transit center though. I really do like the transit center. So I'm still in Salem, just heading for the train station. Won't be much more to report today. I'm still cold, but now that I know where I'm going and I'm almost there, the coldness and wetness is almost romantic, I guess. Or it will be unless like my bus is 4 or 5 hours late and I'm at the Salem train station until midnight. Okay, let's not think about that. Just having a good time. Vroom! Right now I'm at the very nice Salem Amtrak station waiting for the bus. It's pretty crowded inside. So on the way up to Woodburn, I took a Amtrak bus, and on the way back I took a local bus, and I did that because of my scheduling, and also I wanted to see the difference. Obviously there was a difference in time, and in general I would say the Amtrak bus is the way to go. So we have a train going north, the Amtrak Cascades. I've taken this train many times from, this is the train that leaves Eugene at 4:30. But today I'm waiting for a bus going south, but actually a fair amount of people getting on the train here. And this is the last train of the day going north. Okay, well, I always just like to share about trains, but now I'm going to go out to the front and wait for my bus. So I'm still waiting for my bus, and it's a half an hour late. Doesn't matter too much because I still have to wait in Albany for the bus to Corvallis, and this just means I'm waiting here and not there. But you know, when it gets dark and it's cold, what would normally be a short wait starts getting a little bit anxious. So I do hope it shows up soon. Okay, so I'm here in Albany. There's still a bus back to Corvallis. I didn't miss that. You know, this video was supposed to be about Woodburn, but it kind of turned into my personal as I lay dying, as I, you know, took the mega trip, the gigantic trip from Corvallis to Woodburn to Corvallis. You know, which is, ironically, I was always in big cities along the I-5 corridor. But the change in weather really surprised me, and you know, the waiting was kind of tense. So this turned into more of a more dramatic trip, which, you know, once it's edited down to however long this is going to be, that might not be apparent, but it was a little bit more draining than I thought it would be. And well, that's the end of the night. Nothing else to say here besides I want to go home, get warm. Hope you enjoyed this trip, such as it was.